11 extremely underrated PlayStation 3 games that you hunt and play. The transition from PS3 to PS4 has almost been like a relay race, where some of the greatest PS3 games were remastered for PS4. Many of the finest PS3 games have undergone a complete makeover and have been immortalized. However, there are many that did not receive the appreciation they deserved. Some of these games were way ahead of their times, while others sought to offer an online experience of an unprecedented scale. In this video, we bring you some of these underrated PS3 games that will offer a wonderful gaming experience if you try them out. Warhammer 40,000. The orcs invade the world of Graia, and the Imperial commanders think of ways to regain the lands. They deploy some super soldiers to gain control of Graia, and they arrive to provide support to the outnumbered and weakened Imperial forces in the world. Titus and his fellow soldiers must slay the enemies fast and quick. Little do they know, they are about to unleash a much bigger threat. This third-person shooter game was based on the Warhammer 40,000 universe, and stresses upon a hybrid shooting and combat model. The storyline is involving, and the game is visually brilliant with excellent camera movements. It is pretty entertaining to gun and chainsword through the orc-filled wastelands. The gameplay is rather simple, where you have to take on hordes of orcs and the forces of chaos. You play as Titus and complete missions alongside Sidonis and Leandros. Some of the missions, however, must be performed alone. The brutal animation makes for a satisfying combo alongside the terrific sound, especially for the orcs. As for the arsenal, things start off with a knife and pistol, but soon you can acquire better weapons such as the Vengeance launcher that shoots sticky grenades. Warhammer might be popularly known for its strategy outings, but this is a more of a charging into enemies head-on kind of game that you would love. Vanquish. The game is based in a futuristic world where the President of the United States hires a team of soldiers to take back a space station that has been occupied by an ultra-nationalist from Russia. Sam Gideon and a team of trained soldiers are dispatched to accomplish the mission, but they have a mighty enemy to deal with. Vanquish is a third-person shooter game that was designed by the same team responsible for Resident Evil 4, and their skills show when you play it. The game is like a perfectly cut diamond that is rock solid when it comes to the technicalities. The graphics are phenomenal, and it shows in the beautiful battle suits. With the clever camera angles, flashing lights, and moving parts, the suits look even cooler when weapons morph as extensions of the suit. Coming to the gameplay, it's not best suited for a novice gamer because it demands quick reflexes and a determined mind. However, once you get the hang of it and learn to operate the suit, things become a walk in the park. This game had some interesting innovations to the 3D shooter genre, and the fast-paced action with gripping boss battles was loved by gamers. The game hardly had a flaw, but never managed to be as popular as it should have been. Resistance 3. This sci-fi post-apocalyptic first-person shooter tells the story of the world where the United States is standing up to the invincible Chimeran forces. These forces are conducting a full-scale genocide against humans, and Capelli and his militia company try their best to stay away from the murderous Chimeran forces. In the harsh environment, Capelli must work with his men to have a chance of surviving. The best thing about this game is that it manages to combine the best of the first two installments before it. The diverse environments, a perfect atmosphere, and some kick-ass boss battles. The game is sure to keep you on the edge of your seats. This shooter game has some fantastic graphics that make the enemies appear scary. Besides the gorgeous visuals, it also boasts a killer soundtrack that is just perfect for the gameplay. The online mode was exciting as well, especially with the mixture of human and alien weaponry to choose from. The narrative is engaging, and you are bound to feel a strong bond towards the characters of Capelli and Malikov. The game was released at a time when people were getting used to top-notch gaming experiences from Call of Duty or Battlefield, but it still managed to hold its own. This action-packed masterpiece also has elements of love and heartbreak, and is overall a complete package set to thrill the gamers. The only reason this game didn't reach its true potential? Because it was a PS3 exclusive. Lollipop Chainsaw. Of all the heroes who slay zombies, you would least expect a cheerleader to do so. Yet that is the drawing point of this comedy horror hack-and-slash game. Juliet Starling is a cheerleader from a fictional high school in California, and she uncovers the root of a deadly zombie outbreak. Now she has to balance all the drama in her high school and her zombie hunting skills to face hordes of the undead. This game offers an innovative take on the zombie genre, where the protagonist is a hot cheerleader. The dialogues are purposely hilarious, and the narrative is often ridiculously funny. The gameplay gets challenging at times, and if you thought killing zombies would be simple, think again. The combat sequences are pretty cool, and as the game progresses, you can get new combos and enhance the skills. The boss fights are a bit tricky, and it is always a lot of fun killing zombies with a chainsaw. This game has decent graphics, and the layout has an arcade feel to it. We promise you a world of fun with this lighthearted take on a dark theme. The only reason this game did not get its due appreciation is because it was released at a time when a lot of zombie games were being released, and people were somewhat bored of the idea.
Like what you see?
Que magnifico! Where is Flame's castle?
Shadows of the Damned. Garcia is a demon hunter who has to fight the forces of darkness. The love of his life is threatened in a hyper-twisted world of demons, and he must enter deep within to attempt a rescue. The only thing that can defeat the evil of darkness is the strength of light, and Garcia must use all his wits to bring down the Lord of Demons. As support, he has his demon sidekick who can act as a torch, gun, and motorcycle. You have to play as Garcia in this action-packed game, and everything about this game, from the storyline to the gameplay, will appeal to the gamers. Besides the impressive graphics, the attention to detail had us floored. As far as the gameplay is concerned, it is great fun to move Garcia through various environments. There is a nice collection of weapons that his sidekick can transform into, including shotguns, pistols, and rifles. The boss fights are quite challenging, but after making it through one, you can upgrade your weapons. Our personal favorite is the light bullet that the sidekick can fire. It stuns enemies and is very handy when it comes to the game's darkness puzzles. Any form of darkness is your enemy, and you would lose health until you light up the area. The sound design was spot on, and the clever use of darkness makes the game pretty exciting. If you're looking for a fun adventure game, your search ends here with this remarkable game from the PS3 era. Heavenly Sword. The Heavenly Sword is a powerful weapon, but it can be a weapon of destruction in the wrong hands. It was once wielded by a deity from heaven to defeat a wicked warlord, and currently King Bohan seeks to own the sword. Nariko, a young but skilled warrior, must protect the sword from him and ensure peace in the world. Ninja Theory is best known for the iconic game Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, and the company does not disappoint with this outing. The gameplay will remind you of games like Devil May Cry and God of War. Nariko is one of the main characters, and she uses the titular Heavenly Sword. The sword morphs into various forms depending on the stance of the player, and the fighting styles are a sight to enjoy for the action lovers. We particularly love the power stance, in which the attacks are made with a sword that turns into the shape of a large two-handed blade. Although you play as Nariko for a major part of the game, for a while you may have to play as a secondary character named Kai. Her missions are more like sniping tasks, where she uses a crossbow to take down enemies and protect certain characters. Some of the enemies are a bit too tough to beat, and the puzzles will test your patience at times. There are some enjoyable cinematic scenes in between battles, and the overall graphics are among the best in the business. Despite being such an entertaining game, it never caught up with the masses because during its release, the press was critical of the high pricing of the PS3, and not many could afford the system. Spec Ops: The Line. The city of Dubai has been laid to waste due to a deadly sandstorm. A hardened American regiment titled Damned is dispatched to rescue any survivors. A dangerous sandstorm closes in on the team, and when 3 soldiers are sent to discover the truth, they unravel a rather shocking mystery. Here is a game that has the ability to send a shiver down your spine. It offers an emotional and gritty gaming experience where the narrative always nurtures a doubt in you regarding whether you should have picked differently. It is a flawless effort in terms of the story and also the gameplay. It may seem like the usual run-of-the-mill shooter game, but the setting provided is pretty unique. Under the apparent shootout game, you will find some underlying references to the futility of war and violence. As you go ahead with this game, you will have to make some moral decisions that will take a toll on you. Although it had content like no other, it was perhaps a bit too thought-provoking for its time and never attained the popularity it deserved.
Someone called in the big guy.
Split Second, Velocity. This arcade racing game takes you through a journey into a fictional reality show where you have to participate in various events. These events are based in some hostile, destructible environments, and the actions of the driver determine the outcomes of the races. For instance, players can bolster their power play meter through several stunts, and this creates special events such as obstacles for other players. We can only think of one reason as to why this game never caught the attention of the gamers. It is simply because racing games are a dying art, and even all the entertainment to offer with this one wasn't enough to become popular. The mid-air overtakes, massive jumps, and drifting with control are features that would appeal to racing enthusiasts. We love the power plays where explosives can be dropped from helicopters. With 15 different tracks to offer, you have plenty to play for, and the more you play, the greater your skills become. The variety of tournaments have varying difficulty levels that you have to master. The graphics are exceptionally well done, and even the handling of the cars is smooth and slick. If you want the adrenaline rush of some brisk speeding in the middle of destruction, this game is the one to look for. Bionic Commando, 2009. Major Nathan Spencer is a government agent who works in the fictional city of Ascension. He is betrayed by his own government and imprisoned under false charges. Just before he is about to be executed, the city is destroyed due to a detonation of an experimental weapon conducted by a terrorist group that threatens to invade. Spencer is freed and given a chance to redeem himself, and his bionic arm is reunited with him. Way back in 1988, the NES game Bionic Commando was a huge hit, and this game is a modern remake of that version. This third-person shooter game provides a lot of excitement for the gamer, and you have to play as Nathan Spencer. He uses his bionic arm to target his enemies and can even throw objects like cars and boulders at them. Among the weapons available, the tungsten gun doesn't cause much damage but can be shot quickly, while the prototype gun does maximum damage in a quick time. Besides these, you have the usual shotgun, machine gun, and other weapons that are provided during the occasional drops in the course of the game. However, you have to be careful and conservative with the ammunition. The gameplay is realistic, and Spencer takes some time in getting used to the bionic arm as he had been away from it for such a long time. Slowly, he perfects the swings and vertical leaps and can even take down enemies during these moves. In short, this engaging game will be loved by anyone who has a taste for thrilling adventure-based games.
That's how she managed to escape.
Twisted Metal, 2012. Like the predecessors in the series, Twisted Metal is also a deadly competition where Calypso participates, with only winning on his mind. Every character is equipped with cars that have various weapons, and they compete in a strange world where humanity is the least of their concerns. This thought-out and well-designed game is among the best of the Twisted Metal series. It requires a bit of patience from the gamer as they would have to invest time to gain proficiency with the game. The gripping story will have your attention in a flash, and the game even uses live-action CGI for some cutscenes used to tell the story. Visually, the game packs quite a punch with the gorgeous cars and the eerie environments. You have an interesting choice of weapons to play with that range from remote mines to standard missiles. The controls are perfectly tuned, which helps you to participate in this mad Carmageddon like a boss. Even though this game had amazing reviews and decent marketing, for some reason it was quickly forgotten and gamers moved on.
Take this. There's one shot left. Make it count.
Wait for my signal!
Condemned 2. Ethan Thomas was a reputed detective with the Serial Crimes Unit for the FBI. After his former partner is killed, he is brought back to identify and bring down the killer. However, his dark and violent city holds some strange secrets that he is about to uncover. It seems like citizens are acting more violent than ever before. This first-person action game is remarkable in comparison with others in the survival horror genre. The gameplay focuses heavily on the survival aspect, which means that you have to focus hard and make some split-second decisions. In your chaotic environment, anything can be used as a weapon. and that comes in handy when you have to walk through the streets and get attacked by crazy killers. The atmosphere of horror prevails throughout the game, and at the most unexpected moment, you can get bricks thrown at you by some lunatic. The dark and gritty graphics go perfectly with the gameplay, and the makers have done a fabulous job with the characters and settings. The locations range from back alleys to abandoned hotels and factories. There is a separate subplot that deals with Ethan's alcoholism, and it has an impact on the game. We only wish that the makers wouldn't leave this on a cliffhanger. The game is brutal and terrifying, and you must go for it only if you are sure that you have the nerves.